I don't know, something washed over me. And it was just pure, like, it was pure love. And it sounds, I know it sounds hippie-ish, whatever that means, but I'm not like that. Like, I'm a super logical person and really straight to the point. But I just felt this feeling of love, and it wasn't love towards my brother specifically. It was just love, maybe for myself and maybe just whatever for the universe. And all the feelings of anger and fear, resentment, like, just were instantly freaking dissipated. It just went away.
That is a clip from this interview with my friend and long-term collaborator, hip-hop producer and MC, Super Ego. And in this interview, we talk about this strange, almost spontaneous experience that he had, seeing this pure love and also experiencing the ego as something separate to himself. And we explore that and try to integrate the experience, see how he might think about it moving forward. Now, please keep this in the back of your mind as you're listening to this interview. Maybe you think somebody you know might benefit from hearing this. And maybe you take just 10 seconds to try to think of somebody and send them a quick message, giving them a reason to listen to this podcast so they can enjoy it and benefit and perhaps see things a little differently. All right, let's begin.
This is a beautiful thought.
I'm here with my buddy known as Super Ego, Brandon Fury, MC, hip-hop producer out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How are you, Mr. Super Ego?
Pretty good, man. Nervous, my hands are sweaty, but I got my trusty watermelon on my side, and the cats are chilling.
Eating a little bit of spaghetti.
Spaghetti? No, just watermelon. Watermelon is necessary.
Oh, okay.
It gives me dopamine.
Oh, really? Does that work?
Oh, yeah. When you eat, like, good food, I feel like sugary food or anything, but, like, the right type of sugar, for me, it, like, gives me a straight dopamine rush, like, whoosh.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, we wanted to talk a bit about your wild experience. You had a kind of spontaneous spiritual experience. But first, let's talk a little bit about the context of your life. We'll try to see how this fits into your overall story. Brandon Fury, the hero of his own story. So I know you've been exploring a little with microdosing psilocybin. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I've been kind of microdosing. Well, in the past, I've microdosed a lot, but it's been a while now. Up until like probably about a week ago, I started microdosing again. And I guess my main intention for microdosing was to feel like a boost and maybe get a little bit more like energy and then also to like kind of work through my issues, like learning how to be more present. That was a big intention of mine in taking the microdose mushrooms. And also just seeing what happens too, like to be open to whatever happened. Because I think microdosing is a great tool, and I have a lot of exploration to do with it.
Yes. Yeah, well, that ties into a lot of what happened. Like we were doing some CBT sessions for a few months, and you had a lot of breakthroughs with that. And it was like you started to become more comfortable with all kinds of emotions that were coming up.
Yeah, and a lot of concepts too, not just emotions. I'm still working on the emotional part. It's hard for me. I feel like it's really hard for me to appear vulnerable still. I know that was one of our sessions too, and but it's helping me a lot. I've helped. The CBT's been awesome.
So it's not just appearing vulnerable, but being vulnerable, like in your own emotions.
Yeah, definitely.
So what happened with the mushrooms when you set out with these clear intentions?
Let's see. I'm trying to think back to the last one. The last one was, I think, Sunday, the day before my spiritual breakthrough. Although at the time I wasn't thinking of it as spiritual at all. But yeah, so the mushrooms really helped me just be more, I guess, present, just in every form and manner.
Yeah.
And not think too much about stuff and just be able to be okay and accept myself. And then I felt really boosted. It was like I felt like me on a great day. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly how I would describe, microdosing mushrooms for myself. And I can't take credit for that. Someone else said that. I don't remember who said that. And it was like, oh shit, yeah, it is like that. So I'm not taking credit. Whoever said it, I don't know who it is. I forgot. But yeah, so that's that. I'm giving you back credit. I'm not going to be a dick.
Bitten, style bitten. All right. I think we have to put you in the hip hop hall of shame right now for biting
I know, right? Oh, man.
Biting someone's
whack.
Lyrics.
I'm whack.
I was telling you the other day how it's really cool when you do take mushrooms, even as a microdose, you set that clear intention first because it gives us this more ceremonial, like it gives it more weight, it gives a little more respect to the plant medicine because these things have this crazy potential for opening your eyes and showing you different aspects of life and personal transformation. So I think it's really cool how you take the time to think about why you're doing it and what you might gain from it.
Yeah. I don't know why I did that, honestly, originally. I guess I just read about it and they were talking about, a lot of people were saying it's better if you have an intention with it. And I don't view mushrooms really as a just recreational thing. I see it more as just a powerful tool to be able to work on myself. That's my really whole goal. That's my lifelong journey, is to work on myself and become better. And maybe that's an ego thing.
Well, we'll get into that later, I guess. But do you ever get like a very uncomfortable emotions or anything surface when you're when you're microdosing?
That's a good question, actually. Maybe. I think I have. I just don't know if it's been recently.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I feel like anxiety because,
yeah.
Well, I don't know why, but yeah, I guess it's the emotional, the stuff that's dug deep within myself coming to surface using the microdoses. But as far as like more detailed account, I don't specifically remember, or maybe I just wasn't focusing on it too much.
Cool.
Too busy enjoying the rest of it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, well, I know one thing that I've been trying to practice this lately. My friend Alink has said she's studying her master's in Gestalt therapy, and she said something to me about leaning into her difficult emotions. Like if you go through a breakup or something, and you might feel very anxious or awkward or just like resistance. I find that if I just lean into it a little bit, and I don't even know what that means exactly. It's a weird thing to say because you're not physically leaning, but you're just moving or trying to push your focus a little bit towards that uncomfortable emotion. And it seems to, like, it's uncomfortable to do it, but it seems to really help after, half an hour or so of doing this. It's like those things aren't such a big deal anymore, and maybe they just fade away.
Yeah. Leaning into the fear and just facing it. That's how I would feel like it is a big part of facing that fear. And that I feel like that's another thing the mushrooms do for me as well. They allow me to, I am myself. I can, I don't think the mushrooms change me specifically, but they help me unlock a part of myself that I don't know, that's kind of stuck or buried a little bit, I guess.
All right, so you have these interesting experiences with mushrooms, and then on Monday, this thing kind of happens out of nowhere. So what happened on Monday?
Oh man, I mean, it's pretty awesome. On Monday, I had a really powerful breakthrough which before Kurt had described it as spiritual, but for me it wasn't spiritual at the time.
Yeah.
But now in retrospect, it's definitely, I could see it being spiritual.
Yeah. What was the build-up?
So I got into a fight. Yeah, right. I live with my brother, and we've been living together for a long time, like about 10 years now. So, I mean, we fight sometimes as brothers. And we got into a it was pretty crazy fight that morning. And I clocked my brother a couple times in the head, and my brother grabbed me up and like pushed me against the bathroom sink on accident. I don't think he meant to like really hit me on the bathroom sink, but my head smashed the bathroom sink. I landed on my tailbone, my upper spine, and my left elbow.
Wow.
And so yeah, I'm sitting there for a second in shock that I just fell like that. It didn't hurt yet. There was no pain yet. And I knew I had about a couple minutes before the pain really kicked in. So I started instantly just doing deep breathing because that really, really helps with pain. And I went to my room, grabbed up a couple ibuprofens, water, some snacks, put my bed down. And because I have my bed in my studio. That's how I do.
Okay.
Word up. Grabbed some frozen peas and frozen Gatorade and set that up to put on my head and tailbone for swelling.
Yeah.
And just waited, basically. Took the ibuprofens and waited. And I was trying to not think. Oh, and some weed, of course. Smoked a huge bowl of weed to help with the pain.
Yeah.
And yeah, I waited there. And I was trying to force my ego or something, like my negative thoughts were creeping in, like, fuck my brother, man. I'm going to kick him out. Like, fuck this. I'm mad at the world right here, right now. But I was trying to not let those thoughts in favor of making sure all, like, my pain situation was taken care of. Because I didn't want to, like, when you're illogical and emotional, you forget shit. So, So I was good. Like, I was sitting there, and I started thinking about, like, just all the negativity I had towards my brother, the anger, fear, resentment and stuff. And I was just like thinking for like 5 minutes, just like, fuck this dude, my brother, but like, I hate living with this guy. And then it's like, I don't know, something washed over me. And it was just pure, like, it was pure love. I know that sounds hippie-ish, whatever that means, but I'm not like that. Like, I'm a super logical person and really straight to the point. But I just felt this feeling of love, and it wasn't love towards my brother specifically. It was just love, maybe for myself and maybe just whatever for the universe. And all the feelings of anger and fear, resentment, like, just were instantly freaking dissipated. It just went away, and I was feeling these feelings of just like love and acceptance. And I was actually happy that I was like, the pain went away. The pain went away instantly. Because I felt happy that I even had the honor to be in this fight. It was cool. It's like, damn, like, I don't know. It's so weird to explain. I just had this pretty cool feeling.
Yeah. Well, so why would you feel like, it's like you feel grateful, right? To have that fight.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Why would you feel grateful about that?
I don't know why I would. But I mean, in retrospect, I suppose that, because it's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it yet.
Okay. Well, I might have some insight on that. I wonder, like, I've had these experiences, like, when I was deported from Mexico. There's also, I was going to see you, and I got rejected from the United States.
Yeah.
I was in this little room for 72 hours. And it was interesting, like, sitting there. I try to find something to be grateful for. I'm like, well, I'm grateful that it's peaceful here. Like, nobody has a problem. All the people I'm locked up with are cool. And I'm grateful that at least they give me food. I go through all these things that I'm grateful for. At the end, I'm just like, I'm just grateful. I don't even know why. But it was like, if I'd never been locked up in that place, I would have never tried so hard to pump up my state or to feel happy, to feel grateful. So the fact that this, on its surface, this negative thing happened, this actually made me appreciate life so much more. So do you think that has anything to do with how you saw that?
That's a good insight. But I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not something I can fully explain yet.
All right. Well, maybe things have become more clear with time.
Yeah. I'm still going through it, like the whole thing, the whole experience. We haven't even gotten to the good part yet.
All right. What's the good part?
So yeah, I guess as I was feeling those feelings of love and just kind of like I was super present too. I was super in the present moment. I don't know if that was a combination of the fight and me banging my head, as you said yesterday.
Adrenaline.
Maybe joggled my brain a little bit, and then the combination also of the I wasn't on microdose yet, but the afterglow of the microdose potentially, or just the fact that I had been microdosing for the past whole week.
Right.
Maybe that helped a lot. And the weed and the breathing. I feel like all those things combined may have caused what had happened next, which was as I was feeling those feelings of love and acceptance and gratefulness. I started having these feelings of the fear was trying to creep back in a little bit. There was a fear and the anger and resentment, but it wasn't me having those thoughts. I envisioned it or saw it or sensed it as a thing, like an entity over there, like about a foot to my left. And I didn't see it, but I like sensed it.
Yeah.
And it was like creeping back. There's this entity trying to creep back and like reintegrate with me. So I saw that as my ego. I thought that was it was my ego trying to come back.
How big is it?
Small.
Okay.
It wasn't like a human size or anything. It was more like almost like maybe a little ball, but it wasn't a ball. It's just a small thing.
Okay.
Maybe the size of like a little bounce ball or something.
Sorry, the size of a tennis ball or something.
A bouncy ball.
A bouncy ball. Like a Super Bowl or
little
like about an inch across.
Yeah, like the one you get from the quarter machines. I don't know if they have those out there. They probably do.
Okay. Yeah, like a gumball.
Yeah. Yep. About the size of that. And that's something that I didn't really even realize at the time. That's something in retrospect.
Right. Does it have a color?
No. Not that I
No.
remember.
Does it have a texture? Is it rough or smooth?
Nope. Not that. Yeah, I didn't see it. It was just more of like a sense. But I did see it though in a way. I don't know how I saw it.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. So weird.
I know the kind of thing you mean, because I know I have this feeling like if I sense a ghost in my room, it happens sometimes. I have an impression of how big it is. Like I'm like, oh well, this thing is about 3 feet tall, and I can kind of sense if it's looking at me, that kind of thing. Yeah, maybe even get an impression of its intentions, something like that.
Ah, yeah.
But I don't necessarily see it.
Sense.
I just know I feel it kind of thing.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt it. But it's so, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, because it's usually, those feelings is usually me experiencing it. Whereas this, it was totally separate. And then, yeah, so it's like, and then it's something I'm dealing with now. Like, I'm like hyper sensitive to the fact, or I'm hypersensitive when the ego is active and trying to tell me things or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm still aware that it's not really me, but it is a part of me. And that's something we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
About instead of me pushing the ego away, I could maybe learn to accept it or embrace it.
Yes.
For what it is.
And maybe it's not necessarily identifying with it. So the thing that came up yesterday, I was like, well, we have this assumption in our society that your ego is you, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's this smaller part of you. Maybe you don't have to identify with it. Or if you identify with it, maybe there are other parts of yourself that you can identify with.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe even learn to use the ego as a tool, but not let it dominate your whole world.
Right. What do you think that the ego could be useful for?
I mean, I think I don't really know much about super psychology or anything, but like, I don't know why I said super right there. What the hell?
Super ego with the super psychology. About to break it down.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
But I think it's a necessary tool to be able to like maybe like sense danger and like or because I think the whole ego's goal is to like kind of protect you from danger. And that's why I don't know if that's specifically the psychological description of the ego, but that's what it feels like when I just think back to whenever my ego is saying things or whenever I was saying negative things about myself or a situation, which I don't even say it like that anymore. Like it's not me saying those things, it's the ego. And that's crystal clear now because of Monday, what happened Monday.
Right.
But
wait, saying them like I think actually speaking them out loud or just thinking them?
What, the thoughts?
Yeah. Like you said the negative things about yourself or others.
Oh yeah. I used to identify with those negative thoughts as me, but now I don't even say it like I'm not saying it like it's me thinking those thoughts. It's more my ego thinking those thoughts. And anyway, so that's where I come back to the point of like, I think the ego can be useful as long as I don't let it dominate my present being and take me out of the present being.
Yes. It's like if you get carried away with it, then it's going to have negative consequences, like thinking these negative things or constantly comparing yourself with others. Not even realizing that those thoughts aren't you. You think those thoughts are you. Yeah.
If only I could get better, then maybe I'll be as good as the other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think everybody has that, or like, sure I'm good now, but I'm not as good as what's his name?
Yeah. Who said that quote is, comparison is the killer of something, happiness, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember the full quote. What is it? It's like comparison is the killer of satisfaction or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yep. It's a really good quote. When I saw that, I was like, oh shit. And I kind of did compare myself at one point. I haven't done it for a long time. I never do it. I compare myself to myself. I don't even want to do that half the time because I'm definitely progressing.
Yeah, it's just like you are what you are, and you make the right moves, and things come together, right? You don't necessarily need to compare.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, unless,
right.
But maybe that's a good function of the ego. Like sometimes you'd be like, how can I push myself, or what's a role model, somebody I can look up to.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential good things for the ego. There's tons of things. I just can't think of any other offhand.
Yeah.
I guess just maybe the strategic part of me, or the part that wants to plan for the future. Mm-hmm. I think that's all ego stuff. Yeah. And then maybe also to utilize the combination of both my higher self and the ego, or my present being and the ego, is maybe I can plan tasks and goals. But then, while actually doing the tasks and the goals, to be in the present moment and learn how to do that.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like you don't need to be all the way in one thing or another thing. Well, I was thinking about what Eckhart Tolle says about how when you get good at presence or good at mindfulness meditation, and things are happening, but you don't need to give them all your attention. It's like you keep half or, 72.6% of your attention inside your body, and these other things don't phase you as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to work on that a little bit too, is my body awareness.
Yeah, me too.
I think that'll help with my emotions, I think, too.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the other thing about the ego, I was thinking about when people, sometimes I'll be in a situation, I have the temptation to do something bad, and it might even be something small, like gossiping about another person, whatever. And I think, I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. I have this idea of myself that I want to live up to.
You think that's ego-oriented?
I do think so. Yeah, I would say so. It's like this. I have this firm impression of myself, and one that I want to align myself with.
Ah, I like that. I never thought about it like that. I spent all this time pushing away the ego, but yeah, wow. The ego. Yeah. trying to, feebly attempting to, but never really realizing maybe that the ego is very essential to us.
Right.
To me.
Yeah. Well, one conclusion that we kind of got to yesterday was like, well, what if we're compassionate towards the ego? Like, what if we, like you said, like embrace it and be kind to it?
Yeah.
And that way we can, we can be more cool with these problems that come up in our head.
True. Yeah, that's like when you said that yesterday during the first
failed
attempt at the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, when my audio really messed up. It took a bit, and I'm still working on it, and I feel like I'm going to be working on it for a long time, but I consciously tried to befriend my ego, as in, not as in going to the bar and having a couple drinks with each other, but more so along the lines of just being okay. Like when those thoughts come, those egotistical, or not egotistical, but just the ego thoughts, the negative thoughts, the fear, the anxiety, whatever, instead of pushing it away and being like, oh man, we got to be positive, I was trying to be more accepting of those thoughts. And recognizing that is just my ego trying to protect us. And that's what kept coming up for me. It was like, after that, it's like, damn, like all these thoughts are just here to protect me. They're not bad. So just allow them in.
Right.
And I think yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say it's like a lot of people these days use this term spiritual bypassing, because what happens is people learn that positive thinking is good, or they learn that other people like you more when you're positive. And as a result, they think, well, I have to shut out all of those negative thoughts or negative emotions. I can't even experience them. And it's a problem, because when you're trying to shut those things out, they're going to creep in other ways, because they are parts of yourself and things that they can't be denied forever.
Totally makes sense. I was like that for a long time, like for a long, long time. And I'm still like that in regards to emotions and expressing my emotions. I'm still having a little bit of trouble with that, but I know what to do. I would repress my emotions, and then I'd be like proud of myself that, I'm emotionless, not really realizing that it's going to come up, and it's starting to come up in other ways, like anxiety and fear and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's always something that's something I have to deal with and still have to face.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the good thing is, I'd say in a sense, you only have to get good at handling fear once. And once you do it, you pretty much got a handle on it. I mean, it can take time to figure out how to do that, but it's a skill that can really stay with you for a lifetime. True.
Yeah, I'm kind of experiencing that right now. Like, I just got a mountain bike.
Cool.
And I never really explored. I've always lived in this kind of bubble of like my city, but where I am, it's like super suction cuppy. I don't know. That term's probably never been used ever, and I just did it, and it was awesome.
What does that mean?
But
you get stuck in the trap? You live under a dome?
Yeah.
A giant suction cup?
Kind of. I do. It feels like that. It really felt like that for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, living in like the hood and stuff.
Right.
It's totally like all encompassing. It really is. And it becomes so like for like mentally. I don't know what it does. I think poverty affects you or can affect you psychologically. I haven't really done the research on it, but I felt really almost victim mentality for a while as far as that goes. And I didn't like feeling like that.
And what changed?
Well, the bike thing really helped me. It sounds so like trivial, but getting a bike and like going out to explore and just like, I don't know, maybe it's a combination of like exploring and because I was facing my fear as I was riding, because I've always had this fear of like getting lost or being by myself and getting lost and not knowing what to do or not knowing where to go. So with this bike, it really helped me like just kind of, because when you're walking and getting lost, I feel like I feel stupid. But when I'm on a bike and getting lost, it's like more of like an adventure.
Okay, that's really cool, because it's like somehow you took a fear and turned it into something exciting.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, I never thought of it like that. That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like awesome. It sounds trivial, but it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like, and I did it today. I faced fears today. I was like, okay, there was this place that I went to with my friend on the last bike ride, and I don't remember where it is, but I want to find it, and let's just go and find it. And I found it, and it was easy, and it was like, and now it's like, I know that again, like, I know that bike trail, and I feel like stronger within, and I just faced my fears, and I was like, this is cool, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I do try to tell people, like, a lot of people are scared to travel or, like, even go outside their own suburbs sometimes. And I try to tell people, you have to take care. You have to protect yourself, check your six, everything. But the world in general, it's a pretty nice place. People are pretty friendly wherever you go. And in a lot of the cases, they'll actually look after you. They'll help you out if you're in a jam.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. That's like, I think that's one of my next goals is like, I keep finding myself daydreaming about like going places, like just being in a new place and like thinking like oh man, I really want to travel the world. There's so many like people, so many different cultures, so many different locations and everything. I just want to experience it. And I was always afraid to travel by myself.
Yeah, so. Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like I used to be in a similar situation. I'd say, like, I lived in my hometown. Like when we first met, I was living with my parents, and it was like, I didn't necessarily want to go to the next town, to Newcastle. And then, I didn't really want to go to Sydney because that was scary. Like the big smoke, they call it in Australia. The biggest city in Australia, it's like 10 million people. It's not, maybe 8 million people live in Sydney. And little by little, start expanding my area of places where I was comfortable to go. And then I remember years later, like in 2011 maybe, I was like, whoa, I'm on a flight to Los Angeles and this is no big deal. Like, I can just do this. Well, cost a bit of money, of course, but it's like, of course. 12 hours on the plane, I'll be in a whole different continent. Away I go. Wow,
that's so cool. Were you like anxious? What were your feelings about it, being on that plane?
No, at that point it was like me realizing I'm not anxious, and this is this is absolutely fine. Like the previous time, I'm sure I was anxious, but I guess that's maybe that just disappears from my memory somehow.
That's so cool, man. And it's like you said before, like developing your skill of facing your fears. And you said it stays with you your whole life, and I feel like the more I face my fears, the better the better okay I am with doing it, and I'm not, the less foreboding I feel when I'm about to face a fear.
Yeah, yeah. And, the cool thing as well is you can kind of go as slow as you want, as long as you keep moving. Like people try to develop confidence and they're like, well, I can't say hello to a stranger. I can't start a conversation with them, or trying to invite a woman on a date or something like that. But then try to do something like just make eye contact for 2 seconds. And then later, maybe you can say, oh, what a lovely day it is, and whatever. And you can go really as slowly as you want. They have this expression in Mexico. They say, it doesn't even make sense. They say, hay más tiempo que vida. Like there's more, there's more life than time. No, there's more time than life. I don't know it doesn't make sense literally, but what they're saying is like life is long, so you can take your time, which is something really cool.
Yeah, that's true. Because then it's like coming back to what you're saying about not comparing yourself to other people too, kind of, because you get to go at your own pace instead of feeling like you have to progress this fast.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I remember somebody asked me once, like, oh, you're 29 now. Do you ever feel weird, like you see celebrities, they're 25 and they've already made it? And I was like, maybe. At the time, I would probably. I think a lot of people have that thought, like I'm somehow a failure because I've not reached that. That crazy level of success, or a certain kind of success that some people have. But now it's like, everybody has their own path. So I don't need to be worried about what other people have achieved.
True. Yeah, everyone's on their own journey, man.
Yeah.
And it's all in different paths. Everyone's got a million different paths because we're all 6.3 or whatever billion people are in the world right now. We all have, there's no two people alike. There's too many variables that make us us.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody has a little divine spark. Yeah. Well, here's one thing I was thinking about with that experience that you had on Monday. Like, I think, I guess the context of this is like, you spent that time, like we did those CBT sessions, and you're getting used to these emotions, and you're practicing while you're microdosing. Like occasionally emotions come up and you start to explore them and things. And maybe what happened is this is for some reason, you just took this jump forward. Like, hey, you're getting used to experiencing these awesome emotions, powerful emotions, I should say. And then suddenly, well, it's not just one powerful emotion. It's not just fear. It's not just anxiety. It's also love. Love is also a part of that. So when you expand your sphere of emotions, you start to see the wonderful part, or you start to see what's underneath.
Sounds pretty cool. So you're feeling the everything.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. That's what I think it might be. It's like open your heart, or open your level of experience, and then these other things flood in.
And it's being open to it, like kind of like just being open to the universe, and whatever happens or however you feel is okay. Mm-hmm. And it's part of it.
Yeah.
It's part of your journey.
Yeah.
I like that. This is some good insights here, man. This is good. This is good material. This is a good conversation. I'm proud. I'm proud of this.
Put it on wax.
Hell yeah. That sounds like the Wicked Witch of the West scratching.
Yeah.
My pretty.
The chicken scratch.
Yeah. Go. Beautiful thought. It's a beautiful thought.
Oh, right. You're going to make me a new intro, outro thing.
Hell yeah. I'll do that. Easy, bro. I'll make it cool like with 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, a 10-minute intro.
People will turn it off before that time. So maybe I'll make it like 30
I
seconds.
have to change it up every day.
No,
It was cool
like,
with the intro I have. I took that. I asked my friend Angelica to record that. I don't know if you heard it, but it's she's like, "This is a beautiful thought."
yeah, I remember hearing that. I was like, oh, she killed it.
Yeah, it was cool because I said to her, I love your voice. It's like soft, gentle, welcoming voice. Something about her voice, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know, Kurt. That I'm ashamed of my voice or something." I was like, "No, your voice is awesome. Please do this for me." And she did, and it's fantastic.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's cool because that's weird that she said she didn't know that she doesn't like her voice. That goes to show like the ego is in everybody.
Yeah, what you point out is right. Is it like some people think of ego like being egotistical? It's like I think I'm so great, but it works the other way as well. Like, oh, I think I'm so small.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is both ways. It's like I don't know what that is. The ego, man, you're a tricky guy. What does that mean? I don't know. My ego is my friend. I got to do a whole nother album based on this. Man.
All right, so
it's hard to be an artist.
The next album is My Ego Is My Friend.
Ooh, something like that. That sounds kind of Mr. Rogers-ish, but I'll make it work.
All right. You're the hip-hop Mr. Rogers.
I don't want to say that too much. This is rapper that did an actual music video as Mr. Rogers, and he's a rapper.
Cool. Which rapper?
But well, here's where it gets weird because his name's Prof, but he just got dropped from Rhymesayers, which is Atmosphere's hip hop album, hip hop record label.
Yeah,
and he got dropped for I guess sexual misconduct or something.
So he wasn't as nice as Mr. Rogers.
Nope, not as nice.
That's a shame.
And I don't know if I am, but I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. No allegations yet.
No, I hope not. Ever. Never.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm a fucking boondock saint. A boombox saint.
So what do you think about this intense experience of like having love come and seeing the ego separate from you? Why do you think that happened?
I'm not sure why it happened, honestly. Maybe I have no idea. I mean, the catalyst for what it was the fight and the catalyst for why it happened, or what caused it specifically, as far as like physical things or whatever. It's definitely the microdosing, maybe the combination of everything, the breathing and all that. But I'm not sure why it happened.
Yeah,
I'm definitely happy that it happened, and I'm like you said, it could have been just like a leap through, a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Like really moving forward a lot, like more than normal.
Yeah.
And there's lasting effects too. The lasting effects are that I'm like really hypersensitive to when the ego is trying to creep in.
So what do you do when that happens? Just aware of it or something else?
I accept it. I accept the thoughts for what they are, for my ego trying to protect me.
So previously it was like you have this thought and you see it almost like a fact, but now it's just a thought. It's like a proposition.
Yeah, it's not like in a separate entity anymore. Although I'm very, very aware that it is a separate entity. It's just not presenting itself as a separate entity anymore at this point. But I'm very, very aware that it is separate. But it's still a part of me though too.
Right. Okay. Well, how do you bridge that gap? It's separate. It's part of you. Do you have a way of thinking about it, or you just have to experience it like that?
No, because it's so new that I'm still wrestling with how, like, I'm still trying to figure that out. But it's weird because it's not something I can figure out with with logical, or not logical, but like just critical thinking, I guess.
Yeah.
It's something that I can more so feel.
Yeah. it's something so different to what you've ever experienced. So it's hard to try to figure out what's going on with it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I keep talking in circles.
All right. And do you think there are any pitfalls, like things that might happen, negative things that might happen, or mistakes that you might make as a result of having this experience?
No, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
No, I think all in all, it's a positive experience.
Yeah.
But it really is too new to really say.
Yes.
Like, I don't think this is the ultimate. I mean, I know that there's going to always be chaos and fear. That stuff's always going to be there to an extent. Fear and anger and emotions, negative emotions, what is perceived as negative emotions. But I just have more awareness about my ego, I guess, and about everything and about my own mind. And I don't think it's going to, this changed my life for sure, but there's always going to be something that I have to, that I'm progressing with, I guess. I don't know if this makes sense, dude. Jeez.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, so you've been doing these exercises or exploring your own emotions with little things that you've been doing, and now you become aware of something much greater, and now you're like, okay, well, I can continue becoming more and more aware, or more aware of my own. This is happening to me too, actually, in a different way. It's like, say if I have a craving or a desire or something, and I start to examine it. Like the other day, it's just a bit, I don't know, I'm embarrassed about this, but it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm thinking about, I'm like, oh, I want to message this girl, this woman that I met, and I'm thinking, well, actually, I'm experiencing this as a kind of craving. It's like something deep in my belly, like I have to do this, like some kind of compulsion. And then I sort of examine that or become aware of that. And then there's another level to it, which is like this little thought saying to me, you know, the fact that you are craving talking to her, that means you have a special connection. And I'm like, I don't know if that makes any sense, bro. And then that,
wow,
that thought kind of floats away. And then there's something underneath it, which is like, hey, listen, I want to think like that. I want to think that this is something special. I'm like, all right, just calm down there, or like I just become aware of that underlying motivation, which is previously hidden from me. I had no idea that there were these levels to my cravings, or these silent or these subtle beliefs behind what I was feeling. But now I'm becoming aware of that.
That's cool. And I wonder if that's something that happens more just being in the present moment, like you said.
Yes. I would say absolutely.
And how do you think you can develop that? Like just staying in the present moment, but like make it stronger to where you can like unravel or go deeper within your subconscious.
Yeah.
How do you think you can do that?
Well, it's not like what we were talking about before, like about leaning into your emotions, experiencing them fully. Don't shy away from them. And also you can have the thought in mind, like, okay, so notice that this emotion arises, and notice eventually it will leave, because all emotions, all thoughts do that. They're all temporary. And when you're experiencing those things fully, it is like a kind of meditation, like an insight meditation. When you meditate on something, trying to find out what it really is. And it doesn't happen immediately, of course, but sometimes when you meditate on something long enough, you'll be like, hang on, there is another way to look at this, or there's a deeper level to this thing. And that's how it seems to work with emotions. That's
so cool, man. That's something I definitely want to develop further. I think that will definitely help me with my emotions and being able to convey them is by meditating and just maybe that body awareness stuff and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah, well, I think you're already on that path, and you're going to keep exploring and finding a lot more interesting insights and experiences within yourself, and you probably have a great time doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I love it, man. Yeah, and I've come so far so quickly, I feel like, for myself, because I've been living with this fear for forever, my whole life.
Wow.
And now, and it's the fear has always stayed there. It's always been there. Not since I was born, but when I started having trauma and shit happening, and and then hiding the emotions, burying them down so I don't feel them. So now, like, I'm facing these fears and becoming more aware of everything, and now those emotions are starting to, well, they're coming up, and I'm like dealing with shit, and the fear is like mostly gone. I don't feel fear of, as far as like I still feel fear a little bit, obviously. I think everyone does, but I don't feel it as strong as I did before, to the point where it was paralyzing.
Yes.
And now I look forward to facing the fear, because I know what it does. Facing the fear makes it go away, or makes you be okay with it, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah,
man. Well, I remember this time I was like, I guess I was about 21, and I was going to technical college, studying sound production, and I saw this cute woman, and I was like, I'm going to go over there and ask for a number. And of course, the way I did it, totally awkward. I had to build myself up. Trying to get a number. She didn't give me a number, but I walked away. I was like, yes, I did that. And it was like this burst of energy running through my body. It was like I unlocked something. Like I unlocked the next level. Unlocked the achievement.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first started talking, I sucked with women. I didn't know how to talk to girls at all. And then we were kind of both learning that stuff at the same time.
Yes.
Just learning how to be better with women.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like that too. Like, damn, like I did that. Like I totally got shot down, but I did that. Like,
yes.
I stepped outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's so powerful when you do that. Yeah. It's amazing. Cool. All right. Oh, is there anything else you want to say on the subject about your interesting experience, or something else you want to say?
Can I just say that this watermelon is really good, and you can probably hear me crunching in the background?
That's an important message.
And yeah, man, truly important. I don't know. This whole experience is just like, I had the experience on Monday, but this experience is ongoing.
Yeah,
it's not like it ended when the ego went back to my perspective. I'd say it's still happening.
Yeah,
and I'm ever grateful for it.
So it is like you open some new level of awareness, and now you can be aware of that, whatever is going on, in a new way.
Yeah, and now I'm like, damn, like, what's next? I mean, for me, you know, like, this is cool, dude. I love progressing. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, another aspect of it is like, yeah, it's great to progress. It's also great to know that you're complete as you are. Like, you can accept yourself as you are in this moment.
That's something like, yeah. I need to learn how to do that more.
Right. Cool. All right. So you got some stuff you want to promote. You had that instrumental album, Pilgrimage of a Virus, the prophetic virus album. Super Ego versus the World. Yeah.
Yep. Pilgrimage of Virus was it is. It still exists. Don't worry. It still exists. You can go to superegobeats.com for all my projects, actually, or my Bandcamp. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Super Ego Beats.
Spotify.
Spotify. Yep, definitely Spotify.
Yep. My
31 monthly listeners. You could be another one of those. But Yeah, so I got a couple projects. I'm working on a lot of stuff. I'm a workaholic when it comes to the studio and making music. I'm always working on stuff. I'm an MC and I'm a producer.
Yep.
And I love working with people. But yeah, I'm working on this other project called Super Ego versus Himself. Soon to be released. I don't know when specifically yet, but I'm still working on the artwork. But
is this an instrumental project?
Actually no, this is me rapping. And actually I'm talking about a lot of the things, kind of touching on subjects that we talked about today. So
great. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Cool, man. All right. Thanks for coming on and sharing your experience and telling us what's going on the spiritual plane.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I didn't even know it was a spiritual plane, but it is definitely. I appreciate you having me, man. And we even had some insights today, man. There's some things I was like, oh, I didn't know that thing. And now I do. That's cool.
We get deeper and deeper. All right. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Yep. Bye.
A beautiful thought.
Thank you for listening. Remember to check out Super Ego's website, superegobeats.com, especially if you're an MC looking for some beats to freestyle over or rap over or something like that. You could probably reach out to Super Ego and ask to collaborate or ask to borrow one of his beats to get the word out about his production skills. And also just think about, just for a moment, perhaps you can think, who is somebody who might benefit from listening to this interview and seeing things in a different way. Obviously, it's not exactly a mundane experience that Brandon had. And also, of course, we talked a lot about cognitive behavioral sessions during this interview. So if you want something similar to what Super Ego had, like the kind of process that we went through, trying to think of different ways to explore his emotions or become more vulnerable so he could, in time, learn to experience these deeper emotions, these joyful, positive emotions, then maybe I can help you with that. So go to the website, beautifulpodcast.com. You see in the header, it says CBT sessions. You can click on that and schedule a time with me. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day.
Beautiful thought. It's a beautiful thought.